Welcome to the You Seem Great podcast. I'm Becca, a former therapist and matchmaker turned date coach.
And I'm Talia, a professional matchmaker and founder of a leading matchmaking company. Together, we have helped hundreds of singles find love. We're here to share our expert tips and tricks to help you find and keep love too. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the You Seem Great podcast. Today, we're talking about fighting fair, how to navigate conflict successfully in relationships. So this is a hot topic. We all need this information. But basically, you get into a relationship, everything's great. Then you start bickering. Like, how do you know if your fighting styles are compatible?
I love that we're starting to talk a little bit more in the realm of relationships because I think it's all relevant. Mm-hmm. And this topic in particular is so fun for me. It actually came about because I had, now in retrospect, one of the funniest fights I've had with my husband.
Recently?
Yes, this was like maybe 2 weeks ago. He had said, we were talking about something and we were disagreeing on the point of it or the logic of it or something. And my husband's like very logic based. So he gets very passionate if he thinks he's right about something. And I usually don't care enough to engage. But tonight I was engaging. I was going there. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, let's do this thing. So we were just like, you know, speaking passionately back and forth, but not in an argument at all. And then he says one thing that like he knew the second he said it. It was a landmine. And I looked at him and I said, you better walk away because I'm going to be so mean right now. I want to say the meanest things I've ever said to you right now. So you better leave.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll give you space. And then we took space and then I came back and was like, all right, should we just agree to disagree? Should we talk this out? Like what way do we want to play this out? Yeah. But in that moment, I had like so much ammo that I just wanted to fire off. That none of it was true, but I just wanted to like go there and I knew it.
You're so smart and mature to say like, step away, buddy.
Oh my God. But now it's funny, but in the moment it was like, I'm going to be so mean right now.
Yes.
And it was pretty hilarious. But that got me thinking we should talk about fighting styles because I feel like it's so important.
Yes, so important.
I can't even imagine your fighting style.
I'm not really like in general a big fighter. Like I'm very agreeable. So I usually like can go along with a lot.
Yeah.
But I do like turn into the Hulk. So it kind of sounds like a little bit about what you're saying. Like I'm fine. I'm agreeable until I'm not. So I actually had this one boyfriend. We dated for several years. He had the best tactic to handle this. So he could sense that I was like starting to build up and I was like about to unleash. And he'd go, hold on 1 second. And he'd go get his guitar and he'd go, okay, let me hear it, but it has to be in a blues song. And I'm like, I don't want it. He's like, da-na-na-na-na. And I'd have to go, God. I got the blues. He's like, da-na-na-na-na. I'm like, because you said you were going to be home at 5 o'clock and now it's 5:30. And by the time I was like 3 lines in, I was cracking up and it worked every time.
My gosh, I would punch him in the face. I would really unleash a beast on
that. He like would not let me say it until I'd have to go.
Didn't that feel like a little invalidating? I'd be like, no, you're going to listen to the raw, unedited footage, bud. Like no blues in this one.
It totally worked.
Wow. You're a gem for that. We talked about the fact that yesterday on a phone call, you said the one thing you value most in life is harmony. Yeah. And I was like, who are you?
I can't believe you don't see that in me. All I want is harmony. Like I want to be in my house and have everyone get along. Like,
you live a life of chaos. You just got a golden retriever.
I know.
Your kids just got to an age of peace and you're like, let's get a dog.
Well, to be honest, we are not okay at my house right now.
I know.
So I don't have that harmony and it is so stressful for me.
Yeah. Wow.
I love just like peace and quiet and everybody getting along and having no conflict. I don't like it when I can feel like underlying conflict in my home, especially.
Yeah.
But also like at work, that really disrupts my flow.
Yeah. Just like put on the blues. That works. You're whatever.
Because you're being passive aggressive with me.
Wow. That would never work on me.
It would never fly. Well, yes, I don't enjoy fighting, but
sometimes I do. You don't ever? Isn't there like a little now and then where you're just like, let's do this thing?
I don't enjoy it. I get upset. Like sometimes I yell at my kids and I hate that
Yeah.
feeling.
That always feels bad
It
because there's a
feels
power
bad.
dynamic. But
Yes.
with Max, if I know I'm right, I'm like thrilled. I'm excited.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't care about winning an argument. I just want the argument to be over.
I'm like 95% of the time that way.
The arguments that we have now are the same things pre-marriage.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like nothing changes.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a helpful dating tip. Like whatever you're arguing about pre-marriage, like you're likely going to be arguing about
Yes.
during the marriage.
Okay. I'm so glad you said this because this is a real thing. And there's this form of relationship therapy called emotion-focused therapy, EFT, that focuses on relationship dynamics and fighting styles, all of that kind of thing. And essentially, the theory is that relationships are like this infinity sign, and connection specifically is like this infinity sign where there's moments of like togetherness and then you feel disconnected and then you come back together.
Interesting.
And the pattern always repeats itself. Even if the topic looks different, the pattern is always the same. And this is kind of what we're talking about today,
Yes.
like knowing your fighting styles so you can identify the pattern. And if the pattern isn't serving you, how to shift out of it.
So interesting. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts. Even when we were getting married, the lady who married us,
Yeah.
like she gave like a little spiel in there and she was like, Talia, it's really important as you move forward in this marriage that you clean the blender. Like that's like in our wedding speech.
I have heard about your blender. I don't know much about your marriage, but I definitely know that you need to be cleaning that blender, Talia.
I do.
That freaking blender is your make or break.
15 years in, literally.
Wow.
So many thoughts on that. Anyways, okay. We are going to get into some of the most common fighting styles.
When we think of this, I think of like Mortal Kombat. Like pick your fighter. Choose
Yeah,
your fighter.
Totally. Choose your fighter. Okay, so number 1, shutting down and building a case.
Guilty.
Is this like the silent treatment?
No, silent treatment feels more like a punishment to me. This is more like you shut down and want to detach from the conversation. So you might like outwardly be calm and step away from it, but then internally you become the best judge that ever existed or the best lawyer that ever existed. Yeah. And you are suddenly recalling every shit thing that your partner has ever done and building a case. So then when you come back into the argument or the conversation, you're like guns blazing. You got ammo. So that's this variation of it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like those people that like think in the shower of their comeback lie and they have a whole thing prepared.
Yeah, it's like you're a beautiful mind and all the puzzle pieces of how horrible of a person your partner is are starting to come together.
Yes. Okay, it feels like a dangerous fighting style.
They're all dangerous, but there's tricks for each of these. And with this one, I would say you have to reorient yourself back to remembering the best of your partner. Like you have to assume your partner has the best intentions. Because if you don't think that of your partner, why are you with them? You know? So you have to stop that lawyer from building the case. That's the golden rule. Because it's fine to need space from a conversation. But if all you're doing with that space is escalating yourself, that's not cool for anyone.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So the next one, the blow up and sweep under.
Yeah.
So this is like an escalated fight. And then the next day everything's fine.
Yeah. I feel like this is like the classic All-American. It's like the cheeseburger of fights. You know? It's like you fight and don't really get to the other side of the fight, but then suddenly you need to discuss what you're going to cook for dinner.
Yeah.
And that conversation leads to like, what do we want to watch tonight? And then you're like, fuck it, I'm not going to go back into that fight. We're already like on equal ground, but nothing ever gets to the other side.
Yes. Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next day, just business as usual.
Yeah. But internally, like those little Tetris blocks are building and building until suddenly you don't like that person very much.
Yes. 100%. Okay. That's such a common one. Okay. The blow up and like make up passion cycles. This is like fiery fight and then you're in bed together and you have this cycle. So it's a positive and a negative in the fight.
It's just like intensity volume 100 in all directions. You like feeling intensity. You like the passion of it. Yeah. Typically you don't mind fighting. In fact, turns you on maybe.
Right. It like makes you feel loved.
Yeah.
When you...
Yeah.
I feel like some people pick fights for this cycle.
Yes. Yeah. They like want to feel that like push-pull kind of feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to feel like you really care about them.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a hard one because If both partners are this way, you're explosive.
Mm-hmm.
If one partner is this way, the other partner is going to get annoyed that you're picking fights.
Right.
You know, so this is like one that you just need to like dial down the intensity of a little bit.
Yes.
Can't be
agreed.
full throttle.
Yeah. I have thoughts on that I'll put a pin in. Okay. So the next one, I'd rather win than be connected. So I just heard do you listen to Diary of a CEO podcast?
No.
Okay. Well, the host, Steven, was just talking about this, how he fights with his girlfriend and he wins the arguments, but then he feels so bad after. It's like winning an argument, like usually you don't actually win.
Yeah.
You feel like crap.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like also another common one. I would say this is like the second most common one of wanting to win the argument. And this is one I see a lot in the couples that I coach, where both people want to prove to me why they're more right than the other person. And ultimately it's like, guys, like one of you has to soften.
Right.
And I don't care which one of you it is, but like one of you has to make the choice in this moment.
Yes.
Because if you want to both be right, then you just might not feel close to your partner.
Yeah. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
100%. So this one, you have to kind of check yourself. It's very hard in the moment because you feel like you won't ever be heard if you just let go of it. But there's a time and a place. And I always say, like, learn the art of taking turns. Maybe he's right first. And then once he feels seen and heard, you can then share your point and then you can be right. And both truths can exist at the same time. But if neither of you ever feels heard, it's gonna feel like you lost ultimately, even if you quote unquote won. Funny story about this one. My husband doesn't really have this fighting style, but when I had like a complicated birth with my first. So when I was pregnant with my second, I was scared of labor and delivery and postpartum, all of that. So I went to therapy to prepare myself for what could possibly emotionally come. So he came with me to a couple of the sessions so that we could plan together as a couple. And I'll never forget, he had never been in therapy before, and he isn't really like a therapy guy. That's not his version of self-care. We click off the Zoom, and he's like, I totally won that therapy. I was like, what does that even mean? He's like, she loved me. I was so insightful. I gave all the best answers. I won. I was like, all right, so that was useless. Like, clearly. But the fact that he's like, I aced it, nailed it. She doesn't
so
even need to see me again.
People pleaser.
Yes. Overperformer. Yeah. And again, he doesn't really.
Again.
Yeah, exactly. Never went back. He doesn't really do that in our personal life, but it was such a funny way to conceptualize therapy.
That's so funny.
I thought you could win it. Yeah. But I feel that sometimes from my clients, the couples. They want to win.
That they want to win. Yeah.
They want to win the session.
Definitely. I know my friends that are in couples therapy. They report back. Yes, exactly that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who the therapist sided with.
Yes.
That's how they felt they won.
Yeah.
All right. The we never fight couple, which I do hear this a lot. We just talked about this. Amal and George Clooney said that they never fight. So I definitely believe these couples never fight, but is that actually healthy?
It depends. Like maybe their perception is that they don't fight in the traditional sense because they make it through it. Like they have disagreements and they make it to the other side, so they don't conceptualize it as a fight. But if you're not having challenging conversations with your partner where at some point in the conversation you kind of don't like them, you're doing it wrong, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the we never fight couple is like the snake. Like it's like slithers and you're like, oh, it's chill, we're safe. And then it just comes and attacks you. Like one day you wake up and you're like, whoa, we didn't talk about all these issues.
Yeah. Or maybe you're just like buddies. Maybe you're roommates. And that's why you're
and
not
you don't
fighting.
care enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think like maybe George and Amal have hard conversations that they make it through the other side so they don't feel like it's a fight where they're against each other.
It probably also helps to have like a chef and a masseuse and a live-in nanny and all the things. I feel like I'd fight a little less if I had all that.
Yeah. But like ultimately, there's no way to live with another human and not be annoyed by them.
That's true.
It's just unless you're barely seeing them, which also maybe they're like traveling for work. And,
yeah, exactly.
No, I don't buy it. You have to fight. Not fight, but at least disagree. Yeah, have moments of not liking each other.
Yeah, get cranky.
Yes.
We don't buy it. George, call us.
Yeah.
Tell us, spill the tea.
Yeah.
Okay. The living in the past.
Oh, this is a tough one. This is maybe the hardest one for me to work with as a coach Usually there's like one event that happened that one of the partners can't get
Oh, I
over.
see. Mm-hmm.
And we're just teleporting back to that moment
it.
time and time again. And there's no escaping it.
So would it be like if somebody cheated, like something like that? Okay.
Yeah. So it's not always that big, but yes, like some form of betrayal, some deep
Mhm.
rupture that never got repaired, that any other thing that comes up gets attached to that. So the person who has the gripe never feels healed and seen, and the person who's maybe the betrayer always feels like
Yes.
they can't win, so why try?
Completely.
Yeah.
That's so tough. Like they can't overcome that one thing that they did.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Because at a certain point, like, you have to make a choice. You know, if you're going to be with that person, you have to choose if you're, like,
to be all in and like love them for who they are and what they did.
yeah. And also, it's okay if you can't, but then you
Mhm.
have to call it spade a spade. Like, the in between is torture for people.
Right. I can definitely see that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. that
I
is
don't
tough.
like coaching that. I actually, I won't say. Those are ones that are very difficult for me to coach.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's the person who like can't get over what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Passive aggressive couple. This one is so obvious when you're around friends.
This one's brutal.
It's brutal when they're like being passive aggressive about the other person around people.
Yes. My husband and I have one couple in our friend group that does this. And it is like, and you never know when
Yeah,
you're stepping
landmine,
into it.
100%.
And they seem okay with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that it bothers them, but I don't know. But yeah, the passive aggressive like digs at each other.
Yes.
Everyone can feel the energy, but you're trying to play it
Mhm.
off as playful.
Yes.
Oh, yikes.
I know this is tough. I actually dated somebody who would do this to me, and I never really noticed it until he came over to my family's for a dinner, and he was making all these like comments about me, and they did not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If my kid brought home someone who was doing some passive aggressive digs, I'd be like, I would make them confront it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's an interesting thing to say in front of somebody's family. Tell me more.
Right.
Shame them.
Yeah, make them say it again.
Yes. Say it to my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because usually it's like a mutter under the breath. Makes you kind of,
like,
makes you guess yourself. Like, did I hear that? Was that,
Yes.
did you mean it that, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
I know it's so tough. I know the things he was saying were like not even bad. They're like how I take a bite of a C's candy and I don't eat the whole thing. It's like little annoying things like that. It still bothered my family.
Yeah. No. That is my least favorite.
That would be your biggest pet peeve.
Yes.
Don't worry, he's a goner. Okay. And the last one, logic versus emotional couple.
Ooh. This might be my favorite type of couple to work with because all they need to do is learn each other's language.
Mm-hmm.
Like the logic person is stuck in the logic of what makes sense, and the emotion person just wants to be heard and like understands maybe the logic is different but doesn't care because it's their emotional experience. So a lot of times it's just like getting them on the same page and also helping the logical person understand that they both can be true.
Mm-hmm.
You logically did not mean to hurt your partner, and also your partner felt hurt by what was said.
Yes.
It's okay that they exist together.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this one because I myself probably teeter between logic and emotion. So I feel like I like to think I can bridge the gap.
You can relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, I have a thought, but I'm curious what you think. Do you think that you need to have similar fighting styles, opposite fighting styles? Like, because we're all coming with different fighting styles. So how do you know if yours is compatible with the other person?
I think it's like the horoscopes. Like certain horoscopes are like hard no. Others are like, you'll be fine. And others are like, you're going to be on fire. Like, that's kind of how I feel about fighting styles. Okay. I don't think you have to be the same fighting style. In fact, I think it's helpful to not be because then you can teach each other your own ways. If you are too far off, like if you are the blow up and make up person and you are with the shut down person, like that's going to be hard to resolve. Like you have to be somewhat in the same orbit. But I actually think it's more beneficial to have different fighting styles.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I learned that one the hard way. I dated somebody and we had very different fighting styles, and I was so triggered by his. Like he would yell at me, and I didn't grow up with parents who yelled at me. Like, they were very direct and stern, but they weren't yellers. So when somebody came at me yelling, I was I could not handle it.
Yeah.
And I broke up with him because I knew we would never have made it in like arguments.
Yeah. I couldn't be with a yeller. Yeah. But like if Max were also a shutdowner like me, we would just like never
He'd go on
speak
vacation.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd just be like, see ya, and
Yes,
never speak.
that's so true. Yeah, you do need to have like, they need to be compatible, like around the same.
Yeah, for sure. What's Aaron's fighting style?
Maybe a blow up and like possibly sweep under. Usually we fight about the same things, and usually we accomplish our goal by the end of the fight, and then we each know the assignment.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. Well done.
Thank
A
you.
plus.
My
You
mom was a
win.
therapist, so maybe that's why.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to work around it all. It just depends on each partner's desire and ability to shift a little bit what their dating style, what their fighting style is.
Yeah. You have to, as you mentioned before, like you need to give the other person the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
You have to work together as a team. Like you're just trying to accomplish a goal together as a team. You're not against each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I say that when I do decide to work with couples, which is kind of rare, that's one of the first things I tell them. I say, neither one of you is my client. Your relationship is my client. So whatever I think is going to benefit the relationship might sometimes look like one of you is wrong or I'm favoring one of you, but the relationship is what I am tracking. And so my husband and I kind of think that same way when we're having a conversation. It's very much like, okay, yes, we each have our experiences, but what makes sense for the relationship? And then we ultimately try to get there. It's not always smooth, but
like in a fight to say
yes.
like, well, you always do X, Y, and Z. So I find it's helpful to really just try to stick in the moment. Like what is happening right now? When you did this, I felt this, but not throwing in always.
I used to do that all the time. I used to be so extreme in my language, and I worked out of it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Because there's nothing worse than like Max being logical would be like, really, I always do this. How about X, Y, Z?
Yeah, last week I did.
And then you have to like eat your words and be like, all right, fine, not always, but this time. And then you just you lost everything in that moment.
So true.
Yeah.
Any other fighting tips?
Okay, so if I were to take you through a step-by-step guide of what to work on to achieve a more conducive fighting style, I would say the first step is to understand what it looks like when you start to get escalated. Like you said, like when you start getting into that like mode where you want to fight, start to know what the ramp up to that feels like and how you can calm yourself down. So some people need to take a break from fights. Some people need to reorient what they're talking about. Some people need to listen to blues music, whatever your flavor is.
Your boat.
Yeah. Find a way to like not get to a level 10. Because if you're getting to a level 10, it's like gloves off. You're done. It just is what it is. And once you reach a certain point, like I have a rule, I will not say things I don't mean. Like I can't say things that I don't.
That you can't take back.
Yes. Because once they're out there, like damage is done. Even if you didn't mean it, there's no way for someone to not absorb it. So do not let yourself get to the point that you can't take it back. Strict rule in my brain. Yeah. Okay. So then you have to remember, like we said, that you're working on the same team. So once you are on the same team, you have a shared goal. At the end of this conversation, we need to feel more connected. And I really want to feel like we understand each other, whatever it is. Come up with that goal. You have to try to assume the best in your partner throughout the argument. If you are assuming that your partner's intention is to hurt you and you feel that that's true, you should reassess your partnership.
Yeah.
You know, it's like usually people don't hurt us because they want to. Talk about how you're feeling in the moment instead of the action or the story of it. So this is what I always refer to as process over content. Don't get lost in the content of the argument. Well, you said this and then I did this, but you did this first. If you get lost in the content, you're going to go in circles like Tom and Jerry. If you can say, in this moment, it doesn't feel good the way we're speaking to each other. And it feels like every time I'm trying to say my point, you shut me down. That's a lot harder to get stuck in and to argue. So drop back down into the process of that conversation specifically, which can be a hard skill, but practice it in neutral moments too. I feel really connected to you. I'm feeling great in this conversation. It felt so nice to spend all day Sunday with you. Practice it in the good times.
Yeah, I love that.
Then, like you said, talk about the situation at hand instead of you always. Try not to become a historian. Suddenly your memory's sharp and you're recounting the last 15 years of your relationship in every detail. Like, not helpful. Find a game plan to move forward like you guys do, and the steps that each of you can take to get there, of what it looks like to do things differently. And then I have a rule. Max and I have created this rule together. I'm talking about him a lot lately, whatever.
I love you,
But
Max.
yeah, you're the goat. We have a rule that an argument or a conversation that's hard is over once we can either make a joke or have a moment of playfulness or lightheartedness or laugh about it.
Yes, so good.
So like if we haven't had some moment of laughter or lightheartedness, it's not over.
Yes.
And we stay in it together until we get there. So usually it'll be like, we'll hug and then be like, God, you were so annoying, and then laugh about it. It'll usually be like us making fun of ourselves in the fight. Like for the mean thing, it'll be like how crazy was that? Like, did you want to hear what I had to say? Like we like joked about it, and he's like, I was terrified. That was terrifying. Like, so once you can joke about it, you've made it through.
100%. Yeah. I feel like there's like some awkward period after the fight, but before, like you're, at least in my house, we're kind of like creeping around like, are we good?
Yes.
Are we good? Yes. Until somebody does something like that.
Yes. Yeah. We usually separate rooms. Like I'll go into our bedroom and he'll stay in the living room, and then I'll just hear his little feet like pitter patter down the hallway and be like, oh, it's over. We're done here. And he'll like peek through and we'll smile and just know. So get to playfulness. It's the best trick. Okay. This is the best part of the whole podcast, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now that we know the fighting styles, you've chosen your player, you know how to get to the other side of it. How do you look out for this in early dating?
Yes.
Because there are signs.
Do tell. The suspense is killing me.
Well, do you think there's signs? Like, have you seen it?
I mean, yes, but I feel like you're the expert on this.
Okay. I'll take the reins.
Please
Jesus,
do.
take the wheel. Okay. So we're saying fighting styles a lot, but really what it is your communication style. So you can pick up how somebody communicates fairly early on based on the things that they talk about, their comfort level with it. Are they initiating difficult conversations or conversations that are maybe a little bit more emotionally charged? Are they doing it with some regulation? So really, like, how are they communicating even through the early stages of the relationship? Do they tell you that they enjoy their time with you? Do they tell you that it's hard to know where you stand with them? Like, how much can they actually talk about what they're experiencing? Sign number one. Another thing to look out for is how they handle minor inconveniences.
Yes.
The coffee order is wrong. The waiter dropped the water. Their reservation is running late. The restaurant's too crowded. How do they manage minor disappointments that inevitably pop up early on in dating?
So good.
That is a big one. How do they communicate any discomforts? So even if it has nothing to do with you, if they're talking about on the way to the date, they ran into traffic and they were feeling like they were going to be late. Are they like, so I flipped off the guy next to me and I was honking the horn and I was going crazy? Are they like, I was, whatever version of it, you'll get a sense. Are they prone to wanting to engage in conflict? Are they conflict avoidant? Do they just avoid it altogether? If their order comes out wrong, are they going to tell the waiter, like, excuse me, like, no problem at all, but my order is wrong and I was just wondering if I can get this, taken back? Or are they going to say, no, it's fine, don't make a fuss of it.
Are they going to try to get a refund on the spot?
Yeah, or are they going to like call for the manager and be a Karen? Like that's the degrees, that's the spectrum we're working with here. That gives you a clue into their comfort with conflict and how they use conflict. Okay. The big disclaimer is like none of this is a red flag necessarily. Obviously, if someone does something egregious and makes you uncomfortable, not great. But overall, like this is just information to gather about the person. And if you can talk to them about it, get curious about it, understand what they would like to have happen in times of conflict, and if they've worked on that at all, that is something you can build together. Again, the scaffolding of a relationship, you can build it together in your relationship. So just because someone came from a family of yellers and that's what they're used to, doesn't mean that if you came in and said, hey, we don't need to yell at each other. Just tell me what you're saying. That they wouldn't instantly switch into a different mode.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I'm a very different fighter than when I met Max, and he's a very different fighter. He's helped me. I've helped him.
Yes. It's so true.
So
Yeah. I say that to my husband all the time. Like, he will like be speaking like I'm like, feels like you're yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, he's just has like a little bit of a higher tone.
Yeah.
But also he's a lawyer for work. So he's like constantly, he's a litigator.
Yeah.
And I'm a matchmaker. So we're like basically the opposites in how we operate at work.
Yeah.
So I had to train him. Like, even when you raise your voice a tiny bit, to me, it feels like yelling.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the beauty of relationships. They can heal and help you evolve into these different versions of yourself that you didn't learn when you were younger. So allow it to be that beautiful experience instead of, you're wrong, you do it this way, you're yelling and you never listen to me. Like, it's an opportunity. My husband is very much more comfortable with conflict than I am. So he's helped me learn how to stick up for myself a little bit more. I've helped him learn to soften and have a little more empathy. So, when you can assume the best in your partner, there's so much room for growth.
Exactly. And again, it all comes back to that team. Like, you are a team. If you can work together as a team, you can figure it out.
Yeah. And those building blocks of how you handle conflict and how you move through those cycles that will come up inevitably, that happens for 6 months, in my opinion. That's happening in the very early stages of the relationship. Because once you're solidified in that, you're going. That ball's rolling.
So one final question. What if you've been dating somebody for a year? You're ready to take it to the next step, get engaged or get married, and you've never had a fight. What do you do? Should you pick a fight just to test the waters?
No, you say, hey, I've loved this year with you, and it feels in some ways too good to be true or so exceptional that we never fight. And I do wonder if both of us have trouble bringing up things that we are uncomfortable about.
Yes.
And I just want to let it be known that that's something I value. I want you to be happy. So if there is something that you feel like you're withholding at any time, I would love to be that person. And I know it's not comfortable because we haven't created that dynamic together. This is new for us. But I'd love to have a space where we can just go to each other.
Love it.
You don't have to be like, so you didn't do the dishes, like, don't start the fight, but just say like, hey, this is a dynamic we created. I'm not really on board with it. I don't think you should be either. Let's create a new one. I have a client like that. She was feeling really nervous about it, but was terrified to tell him because they had never had a disagreement and she knew it would hurt him. So I got them in the session together and I was like, bring him in. And it was such a beautiful, they were like both like, you could feel they were holding their breath the whole time. And at the end, they were like, that was so much better than we thought it would be. Like, they were so relieved that they got to the other side. But sometimes it just takes someone being like, it's okay. There's no greater gift than feeling like you can go to your partner with anything
completely
and get to the other side.
Anyways, I've never actually been to Burning Man, but I saw this sculpture from Burning Man that was so beautiful. Let's see if I can describe it. It was two people back to back, like they were fighting. And then inside it showed their hearts. And then these two little kids like connecting in the middle. It was like the most beautiful piece of art. But I think about that often with fighting. It's like you just want to love the other person. You want to be connected to them. You're really just little kids wanting the connection. But then there's all this other stuff that gets in the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I will say this might be like a bit of a hot take and a controversial opinion, but in my work with couples, a common dynamic I see happen that breaks my heart a little bit, and I think this is just from societal messaging, is women learn to express emotion much more than men do, just generally speaking. Yes. So women will be expressing their emotions. Men won't really know how to digest that, and they'll just kind of go with it. And then they feel like there's no room for them to express their emotions. And so they never do. And it feels like the woman always gets that spotlight, but the woman never feels heard because the man doesn't really know how to sit with it.
Yeah.
And so the women feel invalidated and the men feel like there's no space for them. And when you have so much of that, it gets further and further away. And I am guilty of that. That happened in my relationship. And my husband said, like, I hold so much so that you can have so much space. And I had no idea. And it kind of broke my heart. But then when he started sharing more,
Yeah.
I was a little uncomfortable
Interesting.
because he was like a rock to me.
Yes.
So I say that just to say, like, this is such a common pattern I see in a heterosexual relationship that it's something worth exploring for my men. Like, have the courage to say the thing that you think you can't say, because if you don't say it, she won't know it.
Yes.
And for my women,
Completely.
like, be okay seeing your male partner not be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a perfect way to end this.
I spoke a lot, but I am
it.
passionate about that dynamic.
It's incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach Becca, you're the best. All right, we'll wrap up this episode. But if you do have any questions about fighting fair, please DM us at You Seem Great Podcast on social media. And perhaps a part 2 on this subject.
Yes.
another
If you want a
time.
part 2, let us know.
Yes. All right. Until next time, thanks everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining today's episode of You Seem Great. You can find specifics of the episode in our show notes.
Want more? Follow us at You Seem Great Podcast on social media. Dating is hard. We're here to help.